first episode of the Empress and the Hermit. I bet you can guess which one I am.
It's so official.
Is it?
Yeah.
I guess we're in our living room. I mean, we're on a set somewhere. It's so magical. So Katie and I are a real life couple, and we've been talking about doing a podcast for a long time. And it's flip-flopped on what it's going to be. We both have ideas for our own, but we really wanted to do one together. And it came down to like talking, just talking. Like I think is what it ended up being. Was like, you know, in our everyday lives, we discuss every random fucking thing. Yeah. And we, you know, become obsessed about these weird, I don't even know, these random ass topics, and it's the only thing we think about in our waking hours outside of like their normal day job stuff. And so we thought that would be the thing to do. For example, we've been watching these camping videos almost every single day, like at least an hour or so here and there, and like it's stuff like that. Like it's random. It's just the most random shit.
Very random.
Anyhow.
Well, and I feel like I want to do this because it's so broad, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, I don't know, some people get into like the autopilot mode and they talk about the same thing every single day, and it's like your work or, you know, your friends or whatever. And we do that. We talk about work all the time.
Yeah, but we wanted to do a podcast that we didn't have to be like, all right, let's keep talking about work though.
No. Well, yeah. But we're also just like have really random shit that we become really obsessed about.
Yeah.
Not even in a positive way. Like sometimes it's like this random YouTube video that we saw where it's like showing conveyor belts that we're making sandwiches.
Son of a bitch, really? Like that's.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it up first.
I thought that would be like a deep cut thing in like year 2. Like, let me tell you about this time that we were so angry we couldn't go to sleep.
That was when I knew that we needed to tell other people about this, so I didn't just have to keep it to myself.
I think that is when I knew
the conveyor belt
that I fell in love machine. With you.
Wow. The conveyor belt with the sandwiches, where they cut them diagonally, which is the correct way to cut a sandwich. That's a square.
But
then they separated from their partner, and they took each half and they gave them to a different partner from a different sandwich. And I just could not stop thinking about it for days. I mean, it's been over a year now.
It's
been 2 years.
It's from the old series, How It's Made.
Yeah.
And there's 2 versions of this video going around, one of which has this thing where the 2 sandwiches are not like the other, but they're smushed together like an unholy matrimony. Like it's just like an arranged marriage of tuna.
Messed up.
But and then there's another one that's not. So like for a while we thought it was like the Mandela effect, which I'm sure is another thing. Anyway, that's a lot like doing a podcast.
Yeah.
That's so random.
See, this is how this is going to be. It's just going to be full of tangents.
So anyway, let's talk. The reason we wanted to do a podcast is because we talk about random shit and we go on tangents when you really get down to it. And we talk at great length about many things for hours and hours and hours. Let's talk about. So this episode is just going to be sort of an intro to us, for you people.
For you to see if you even like us. Want to be friends? Do you want to hear about all the weird stuff?
I don't want to be your friend, but I'm sure you're lovely.
You can be my friend.
That's good.
See, we're already getting started in the differences between us, the Empress and the Hermit.
Podcaster kidnapped after wanting to be friends with absolutely everybody. So she would be like, you're not Jessica Day, but I am definitely Nick Miller.
Yeah.
When you really get down to it.
What happened to my mic?
I told you, you're gonna have to correct it every time. We're doing this shit on a budget.
We're doing it on the fly. I'm learning how to podcast on the fly.
So anyway, let's why don't you talk about yourself?
Okay. So can I fix my mic first?
Looks like you're doing a great job.
It's not going higher.
What?
I need it to go higher. There we go. It's just like a very awkward angle.
Is this what you people came for?
Yes.
This is the behind the scenes shit that's not going to go on the audio version.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You're more interesting than me.
So obviously, I'm the Empress in the Empress and the Hermit. I'm Kati Van Loo. I do a multitude of things. I teach fitness and dance classes. I'm a professional dancer, nutritionist, coach, mindset mentor, spiritual, woo-woo, witch, all of the things. Plus I help with our gym that we own here in Portland. So all the
this one right here.
Yeah, that one.
And for those listening, that's Black Rose Fitness Society. That's Black Rose Fitness Society, located on 2929 Southeast Powell Boulevard, Unit 7.
Unit 7.
Just look for a thing that has terrible not signage and you'll find our gym.
Well, future.
We're working on it.
But in the dynamic of us, I'm definitely the more feminine, frou-frou, intuition, spiritual, sage, all the things.
You think you're more intuition than me?
No, I think you have a great deal of intuition, which the Hermit also has that introspection, intuition thing. I'm just more of like the feminine, flowy, like flowery energy. And when we sat down to name this, Andrew was like, which major arcana card would you be? And it just was the first thing that came up.
I said that?
Yeah.
Oh, I was drunk.
This is actually literally birthed in... The idea to do a podcast has been around for a while, but we thought we got this together in 24 hours. Yeah. So that's a little bit about me. I mean, my hope is that you get to know more about us through the episodes, obviously, but...
Yeah, who doesn't love, like, the... I'm going to shit on someone on accident, I'm sure, but you know when you listen to a podcast the first time and they talk about themselves and that's all they do in the entire episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll get to know us.
Organic is good, but...
I'm like both a down to earth and a woo woo witch and a burlesque dancer and
burlesque jazz dancer,
workout strength woman.
It's hard to talk about yourself, guys.
It's really weird to talk about yourself when you're just like on the spot here.
But not for me. Here we go.
Go ahead. Over to the Hermit.
It's actually really hard to talk to me. So yes, my name is Andrew Slack, and I'm a professional dancer. I have been for 20 years. Gross. It's not wonderful. The dancing part, the 20 years part. Actually, fuck that. No, screw it.
Amazing.
I'm stoked. That's a
Squeak.
There's a mouse in my mic. I'm a professional dancer. I, like Kati mentioned, we own Black Rose Fitness Society. We've owned it for 5 months. It's a gym here in Portland, specializing in mobility, strength and conditioning, and having a good time. Which is, I'm not kidding. Like, I'm not trying to be a douchey dude. Like, we're trying to make like fitness fun for people.
Yeah.
Because apparently there's some weird ceiling, or like, I guess invisible wall is a better way of putting it, for people to get into feeling better. Yeah. Anyway,
we'll have like an episode about specifically about the gym. And
there'll be an episode about fitness and shit. There'll be like 50. Anyhow, the Hermit, I guess, like, I am not any specific, it's like spiritual, what's the word even, like, not denomination, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't subscribe to anything specific. When I was a kid, I seriously practiced 5 different religions over like 15 years. And of note, it was like Christianity because of the people around me, and then Catholicism because of my grandmama, and then Judaism for like, I think I was a practicing Jew for like 7 years, Taoism and Buddhism, everything, and then just research the absolute piss shit out of everything that I could get my hands on. So everything's cool is pretty much my thing. Yeah. But I wanted to name, my suggestion to name it Empress and the Hermit was because of Kati's convictions specifically, and she finds great guidance in it, and the pictures are real pretty. I love the aesthetic. I'm a dork. I like fantasy and science fiction, and let's be real, escapism.
You're a writer.
I am a writer.
Incredible writer.
That's very kind of you. Very generous. I am a writer. I have a book available now on Amazon called The Death and Life of Tom Valentine. It's part of the Crossroads storyline. Yay!
Get it. It's amazing.
But that's basics.
Yeah, and you'll get to know us and our quirks and the things that we say, and you'll start to really see our differences. But kind of like you were illustrating, what's cool about us is that fundamentally we have the same like core beliefs, and we have respect for anything that helps us to like grow or be grounded. Or it was one of the first things we talked about when we started dating was like, I mean, and when I say first things, I mean like the first 2 hours. It was like, what is one of the most important qualities in a partner? And it was growth. It was growth and taking care of yourself and continuing to evolve. So
Katie and I met doing a burlesque show with our favorite human in the world. Basically, his name is DJ Brown. He's done absolutely everything you could possibly do. You know, he's in fucking. He's been in films. He was in Breakin', like when he's a kid, and a bunch of commercials. And his mother is a legendary choreographer. He was in Moonwalker, you know, the original touring cast of Wicked. Like, he's been absolutely everywhere and done everything. He's also... I really hope that didn't get picked up.
I was going to say, if you're not watching us, we're sitting here and we are drinking.
Today's podcast is brought to you by what? It's not. We're not sponsored.
No, not yet.
But if you want to sponsor us, Frem, your lager Pilsner is perfectly serviceable.
The Shell House Sparkling Hard Seltzer. Hit or miss on the flavors. That could be a whole episode in itself, is what I think about seltzer flavors. But
yeah, we could do a whole thing on just monk fruit.
God, yeah, seriously. God,
it'd be one just long, angry tangent. Anyway, we met. So we met doing a show together, and like I respected you. Right away. Katie has some of the hardest working, she has some of the best work ethic of anybody I've ever known. She's extremely talented anyway, but then like she came in and learned like 10 routines in 3 days or a week or something like that.
It was a few weeks, but
it felt quick, like a crunch. Though.
It definitely was a crunch. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and we both danced at the same dance studio, Vega Dance Lab.
All the plugs.
There'll be a lot of that. But I asked her out as a friend to grab coffee.
I'm doing air quotes.
No, it's real. I asked her out as a friend because she was the only person in the cast I'd never worked with. And then it basically was a date, like unintentionally. And it was one of my favorite experiences. And I thought we clicked right away. And I remember, she's heard this 1,000 times, but I remember walking away and seeing her to her car, and actually saying out loud, "Oh no." Well, that's it. Like, and then we flirted over text over Christmas about White Christmas and the movie. And then went on a date, and that was it. I was like, literally, that was it. It was the quickest. It was amazing. We've been together for now 3 years. We just celebrated our anniversary. So and we can have a whole episode about pandemic relationships. Oh man, I mean,
you either
really
made it or you didn't.
Well, we took a shot and it worked. And I know plenty of people. It did. You learned some shit about your partner. Like people I knew who were together 8 years, 10 years, like who were like, They finally had to spend a whole ton of time together. Yeah. Which this is not the true overarching topic of this podcast. Is not about our relationship. However, we can talk about many different topics about our relationship, but that I'm so grateful that we got to do that, because we have spent, I mean, not now that the world has opened up a little bit more, but kind of still now.
We spent 24 hours a day together through the whole first part of the pandemic, obviously. And even now we work together, and we do a lot of work at home too. So it's like we're always together. So we tested it out right out the gate. We're still here.
Yeah, we're almost always together. It's amazing, and I am like I'm just so excited. Like welcome to the first episode where we just blow smoke up each other's ass.
We were not
talk about how great each other are. Like,
on coming in and just doing relationship stuff.
Yeah, this is going to turn into a relationship podcast in like 5 minutes. Well, there's your advice. Like, actually, like, is like if you're ever entertaining the idea of working with your significant other, or if you're entertaining the idea of making someone your significant other, maybe take it and find out if they're your best friend, because that's how it worked out for at least for me.
Yeah, I feel like I need to be writing down like future.
We'll look back at this. It's fine. I got to edit this later. It's no big deal. I'm going to put funny graphics and like a penis flying in from the side.
Oh, that's the direction.
I'm going to put googly eyes on it. It's going to be great.
Okay.
So what the hell is this podcast about? This episode is about why we wanted to do a podcast and who we are.
Yeah.
A little bit of who we are.
We got the name. You met us. By now, you probably figured out whether you like our voices or not. Whether you're going to stick around for that.
Don't worry, I do voices.
I understand totally when people don't dig podcasts specifically because of someone's voice, and it's nothing against them personally. It's like it's an auditory thing.
Yeah, you know, I should I say which fucking podcast is?
Probably not.
Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I don't.
Like, nobody cares about my opinions, except the internet. Well, that was my problem with. There's a podcast called What's Good Games. Like, I had to give it like 4 listens before I could get into it, because I don't even know her name to this day, but like they're brilliant. All of the hosts are brilliant.
Yeah.
But that's immediately what turned me off.
It's so unfortunate too, because it's that way with like audiobooks too, especially if you like,
oh my God,
you don't preview it and you think it's the author and you know who the author is, and then you get on there and you're like, this is not the author, and then it's some like random person and you're caught off guard.
The fucking Lord of the Rings,
The Hobbit.
The Hobbit. This trash fire.
It was on CD-ROM.
It was on CD, not ROM, CDs. Or did you have a CD-ROM version?
Yes.
That's adorable.
I had it way back. It came in this red little cardboard case thing.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Never mind. I'm about to get into like the minutia of what is and is not like storage media. No one gives a shit about that. Yes, but I think I had the same one, and like the way that they had Gandalf voiced was like so confrontational and angry, not like a sexy Ian McKellen like hold me old daddy kind of thing, like a a wizard shows up exactly when he's expected to, Frodo Baggins, or Bilbus Dildo Baggins.
Also, I feel like maybe we should start with like, don't have your kids around when you listen to this.
This is an adult show. I like
adult mouths.
I like to curse, and we're going to talk about a lot of different topics that are not, I mean, like disseminate for your kids, but
for sure.
But you know, we'll talk about anything from.
We say fuck. Yeah.
We'll talk about anything from, you know, dumb audiobooks that we despise to. You know, mortality or relationships or whatever it may be that week. And that's kind of the thing is, so the crux of this podcast is really just predicated on like, we love to talk. We love to dissect information or just dissect topics together. We like what the other person has to say. And
we often have differing views.
Yeah.
Which is cool because I feel like one of us gets a perspective shift each time, at
Pretty
least.
Much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, to just like reiterate that the name of the show, if you don't know, is named after the major arcana in tarot, which I don't know a ton about. I just, again, find it fascinating. And again, they're usually just really pretty. And I collected Pokemon cards as a kid. That's the same, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Oh my God. Your Squirtle is waxing.
I bet there's totally a tarot deck.
There is.
Pokemon.
It's in my Etsy.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah. So
I don't know if we actually decided if we're both going to come with something each week or if we're going to trade off, but we're basically whatever rabbit hole we're on that week, we're going to bring it here, whether it's funny or inspiring or confirms some of our core beliefs, or if we hate it, or if it made us laugh really hard, or if it's like a nostalgia thing. Like, it could be a lot of different things.
We'll usually probably lead with positivity in theory. We kind of talked, and we don't want it to be like, this is what grinds my gears sort of thing. There's enough of that, and the internet's like a really fucked up place, so a little positivity goes a long way. But yeah, whatever it is. Shit, I had a direction I wanted to
I think we
steer you.
We wanted to take this first episode to intro us, but then to also talk about, I mean, obviously one of our current obsessions is podcasting, and what it took to get here, and why we started a podcast. I'm going to interrupt myself because we do have 2 cats who may come in and out if you're watching this on video, or maybe they're going to come up to the mic. I don't know.
Well, right now Lance is our slightly older male cat who may or may not be part Mancoon, but he's the handsomest gentleman there ever was.
He really is.
He just sort of reminds me right now of the director on set, just making sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
And then Tootie is definitely the producer who's just asleep in the back.
Here he comes.
You're coming up here, man. There's my handsome boy.
Come on.
Hey, buddy.
There he is.
Careful of the fire. Don't set yourself on fire again.
Anyways, yes. How we decided we wanted to do a podcast, but also it's deeper meaning in our lives right now of moving forward with things that we said we were going to do, and planning for, and just actually pulling the trigger and doing them. And also the process of I mean, I'll speak for myself. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never had a podcast before.
Who does?
I came up here when we were getting ready for this, and Andrew has microphones, and I don't even know what that thing is over there. It's a metal thing where everything's plugged into it, and a whole program. And I'm like, all right, we're doing the dang thing. But it literally just took us finally being we've said we're going to do this. Let's honor our word and make decisions quickly. Last night we sat down for a few hours, picked out a name, color scheme. The description took a little bit longer, but so that's
sir.
And now he's traveling. Lance is traveling. So yeah.
Right. So did you already explain, my attention span is rough. Did you already explain why it's named, what the significance of the Empress card and the Hermit cards are?
I didn't read them, but I could.
Would you mind?
Them.
Because I would like to learn. I picked these names straight up because, I thought that it would be funny because Katie is so elegant and so wonderful and so amazing and beautiful, and I am kind of a schlub in a lot of the things that I do. A lot of the things that she does to relax or to get out or that she's fascinated with have to do with, are very traditionally bright and sunshiny, and mine I literally all the work that I do at home is in basically a cave. It's
literally a cave. I go down there and it's so dark.
It's my recording studio for voiceover stuff, and for I have a hobby YouTube channel, and yeah, I'm a fucking troll, and she's the princess, so there's that.
I wouldn't describe myself as a princess.
I meant royalty. Or how about the goddess?
The goddess.
That'll work.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what it was that I was reading yesterday as we were going over this, and we were both going, yes, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was this. So okay. I'm reading from ifate.com. Who knows how credible that is?
That is the tackiest shit I've ever heard.
This is
it's right. That's got to be the Onion's version of astrology or something like that.
I don't know.
Okay,
but
I'm sure it's legitimate. And
this
I'm sure
is what I was reading last night.
That'll get back to somebody on that staff, and they'll just be like, that motherfucker.
So, since major arcana cards tend to reference noteworthy or overarching issues, this pair, the Empress and the Hermit, is typically a meaningful one. When two major arcana cards appear together, it's a sign that there's an important dynamic between two major forces or major life issues at work. So that's the dynamic between us two.
That works.
The Empress points to fertility, femininity, beauty, and natural abundance. So the overall meaning is a female approach to a situation, motherhood and its influence, feminine beauty and happiness combine in luxury and opulence, a state of being in tune with nature. So pretty much exactly what you had just said.
Yeah, I don't know. That was much more eloquent than the garbage I farted out.
I liked your farted garbage.
Thank you. That's the episode. We have a title for the episode. I liked your farted garbage. Episode 1. The Empress and the Hobbit.
Yeah.
Hobbit? Hermit?
The Hobbit Hermit?
That's fine. Same thing.
Okay, so the
It's not
Hermit.
the same thing.
The simplest way to think about the Hermit is that it points to soul searching, introspection, solitude, and inner voice. So intuition. The summary of the meaning: silent contemplation reveals inner truths. The voice of your heart is wiser than the voices around you. A time for solitude, peace, and reflection, and avoidance of materialism.
Yeah, that's... man. It's funny, and we'll talk about this probably on a different episode. I think it's definitely a topic to talk about mindset or something like that. But I want to fight that description so hard because anytime something... I would say that I am the more... just slightly more... science-based person in our relationship, like in terms of it, just in terms of like faith, like you trust the intuition and things through your astrology and various other things. You'll hear the term we use a lot, like woo woo, which is fucking awesome to me, but it's versus what I tend to poo-poo, not poo-poo. For me, I should say, for me personally, I don't find guidance or safety in those sorts of things. I find them fascinating, but it's not like if we pulled my tarot right now, I would probably not
Feel
go.
nothing.
No, I'd be like, that was neat.
Oh.
That's really fun, but it wouldn't be like, oh, thank God, tomorrow, all those Sunday scaries I've got, fuck it, I don't need, I'm good. I got it. Like I would probably still be like, yeah, but I got 400 things I got to do, and like I don't find solace in it necessarily. And that's like my knee-jerk reaction, even when it's like it lines up perfectly with what you're talking about, even if it's coincidental or whatever. I'm still like, well, and then I try to find a reason to disprove it. It's this. I'm working on it. I'm trying to just accept positivity from all angles.
Yeah.
Again, I'm Nick Miller. Like it
is kind of funny actually how much you are like Nick Miller. That's from New Girl, if you have never seen that show.
Everybody's seen New Girl.
Maybe not. Maybe someone hasn't seen New Girl.
Well, if you haven't seen New Girl, you should see
it.
New Girl.
Yeah.
If nothing else, then for Nick Miller and Lamorne Morris. Jesus.
Yeah.
And Greenfield, the Schmidt.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Max? No.
Max Greenfield, yeah.
Max
I mean, like, those three... We don't need to talk about this right now.
No,
those three,
no, we really don't.
Those three boys are amazing. They're very talented actors. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a great show. Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter.
We're really meandering.
Well, that's what we do. I mean, and we can call it here if you want.
I lost track of the point about, like, doing the things we say we're going to do. Like,
oh, that's ironic as fuck.
Because that's...
maybe that's what we should fucking talk about on this first episode. Is that first episodes are hard.
They're really weird.
They're really hard, and you always want to do like.
I feel like I have a lot to accomplish in this episode.
Yeah, and then you'll look back at like episode 300 and go like, "Wow, we really didn't need to do a goddamn thing, did we?"
All we need to come on here was
just talk about ourselves.
Here's us. Here's the title.
Bye. Like.
Yeah.
Here's a fun. I think this is fun because we're talking about podcasts and doing things. What is a podcast that inspires you? Which I think I know the answer to.
That's really hard because I listen to a lot of different podcasts. Inspires me in the way that we want to run our podcast.
It can be as simple as I like this thing.
That's so hard. Can I have like a top 5?
Sure.
Okay, so my go-to is always My Favorite Murder because I've listened to them since the beginning. Karen and Georgia, true crime podcast. I used to play it to go to sleep to when I was single. I would put it on as I went to sleep, which is
God, it's terrifying.
Yeah. And
then the Green River Killer discarded her various intestine. I can't remember what the Green River Killer did.
I don't know. That's a whole other thing that you'll get to know about me is I'm really obsessed with true crime. However, I have this like weird coping mechanism in my brain where I can learn all about a serial killer or a crime or whatever, and I can never remember the name of the person that committed it. I can just remember the acts that happened.
Right.
And I can't ever, yeah. Anyways, probably for the best.
And I'm the opposite. Like, you give me fantasy crap and like most slasher films, I don't care. It's fake, whatever. Some of it's gross. But like when we watched I'll Be Gone in the Dark, the mini series about Michelle McNamara's book about catching the Golden State Killer.
Excellent.
I couldn't sleep worth a shit for 3 days. I still think about certain aspects of it, like very different people.
Yeah.
In that way.
So that one's just like I guess I learned from that. I learned like weird self-protection things, and I learned, I got to know Detective Paul Holes, and he has his own podcast now, and that one's great, Buried Bones.
It is really good.
With his co-host her name is slipping my mind right now.
Couldn't tell you. I don't know anybody. Like, I refer to the hosts of My Favorite Murder as Georgia and Schmorgia.
Because you can't remember Karen?
I can't remember Karen. I don't know what my problem is. Or one time it was Karen and Sharon.
Sure, yeah.
That's how my pea brain works.
My true crime stuff. But then I have other podcasts like House of Herbie, which is Queen Herbie, the rapper's podcast with her husband and producer.
So cool.
Jedi Nick. And they talk about the creative process and bad bitchery.
How does one label themselves like a copywritten character? Like Jedi Nick. Jedi is a Disney thing.
Oh, I don't know.
I wonder what that's about. Like, because that's a topic for another time, I'm sure. But that always perplexes. Well, there's like fucking Bad Bunny, and his logo is half Bugs Bunny's face.
Yeah, I don't know how he's.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Away with that.
Anyway.
Yeah. And then there's like The Embodied Woman is a podcast by Taylor Simpson. Her stuff is very much in the spiritual world, chakras, alignment, energetics, all that stuff. So then, there's tons of other ones too, but those are the ones that come to mind that I listen to, that I like look forward to them releasing at least every single week.
Yeah. And I don't have one. Like, I don't like really, I have ones that I feel like I'm supposed to like or follow. I guess I have a couple, but there's nothing that's like,
what about
podcast wise that I really like? Oh my God, a new podcast is out, which is ironic that we're doing this. Please keep listening.
No, but there are certain episodes of Armchair Expert that you like.
I'll give you this. Like, Armchair Expert is like probably the closest to a favorite. It's just like, because the episodes are so odd, because Dax Shepard, I think he's great, and I've liked most of his career, most stuff. That thing he did with Dane Cook, kind of rough, but not his fault. He didn't write it.
Unemployed?
That's the one.
Is it called Unemployed?
I don't know.
Did it have Jessica Simpson in it?
It did, and she has big ass ears for some reason.
Oh yeah.
That's how they humanized her. It was like,
oh my God, that was
they gave her
weird.
Giant ears.
Yeah.
Anyway, he always kind of ties it back to his addiction, which is kind of like that's one of his core experiences. So it makes perfect sense. The only other ones that I'm way into, I'm into enough to mention, the PlayStation Access podcast, because I love that crew. I've watched like everything they've ever done on their YouTube show. It's very good if you're into video games. Check them out. It's a British show, so that's how douchey I am. Is like, it's British, so it's better. Just
you also liked the one about Scrubs.
I do. I when the pandemic hit, I started listening to one of those watch along podcasts. You go back, like the stars of the podcast go back through and watch their thing and talk about it. And Donald Faison and Zach Braff have one for Scrubs that's actually, I shouldn't say it like that. It's actually very good. It's just good. Like, they bring on the old writing crew and the old stars, and they talk about the minutia of it and how important it was in their careers. The one I don't know why I haven't just sat down and started digesting it, but there's one called Old Gods of Appalachia.
Appalachia, yeah.
It's very cosmic horror, but it's set in Appalachia. It's supposed to be amazing. Sort of like, what is it? The Last Podcast on the Left kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I don't know shit about either, to be perfectly frank.
Podcast.
Yeah. But it's got a darker vibe. Anyway.
Yeah.
None of those are like the reason that I wanted to do this. Do you have I don't think we actually talked about this. Like, do you have a reason that you wanted to actually do it? Just not like I have a message, I have a thing, but like a very just guttural reason.
My like deeper reason for doing this is the more I personally, in my journey, my own self-discovery journey, and this is very my realm, the more that I actually sit and voice that my experiences, the things that I'm going through, the things that I'm learning, the things that I'm passionate about, like talking, and especially talking about it with you, who often comes with a different perspective, or like having conversation instead of being in my own mind all the time, is super important for me, because it advances my own journey and my own beliefs and everything that I'm learning, but also it like helps me become a better coach and mentor, because that is so much of of what I do, is helping. I lead myself so I can lead others, and it's really helpful when I actually speak about it. And I've for years been a performer. I'm not really camera shy, except for like still footage.
That is horse shit.
Still photos.
As we were setting up for this, she's like, I'm so nervous. I've never done this sort of thing before.
No. Let me clarify though. I was nervous because I typically am very like masculine energy planned, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like everything is planned out that we're going to say. And we like,
that's
sat
masculine?
Down. Yeah.
Which is, that's really funny to me, because most of the men in my life, this is me taking a very literal thing with masculine.
Yes.
Most of the men that I've known are fucking nightmares. And like 98% of my mentors have been these powerful, forward thinking, like regimented women. So I've always thought of making plans as a feminine thing.
Maybe I'll do like a whole episode on feminine and masculine energy.
Absolutely. I would love to learn more. Shit.
It will make so much sense why so many things of like, we talk often about like the stereotypical dude, and I don't want to like get into anything of like trying to categorize people, but like the things that often are portrayed as a stereotypical dude thing is like a wounded masculine energy. Like they're not hyper masculine is actually a wounded masculine energy. Like they just aren't able to actually tap into like we'll have to go through it at some point, but
I'm learning a lot on episode 1.
And the people that you admire most that identify as men are really in tune with their feminine energy. Like they're able to tap into their flow and their creative side and their intuition and all the stuff that's like feminine energy.
Which is a fun point to bring up, because this is again where we differ. You're so mindful about this sort of thing, but I'm kind of a naive turd. Well, I am. I'm a child about a lot of things, and I'm not trying.
Almost spit my drink out.
Oh, good. I'm not insulting myself when I say that or anything, but like I grew up with a lot of. I'd say I was really lucky to have the mentors that I had and the experiences that I had. My parents are fucking amazing, because I didn't understand. How do I put this? Even like, I don't think. Whenever I look at somebody, I'm like, masculine, feminine, this, that, the other energy, or even like, it's just sort of like, oh, that's how so-and-so is. That's how this person is. I didn't really understand categorizing people until I was probably 16, because high school is hard. Hey, Tootie McGee.
Here comes our second cat. Well, and just like before you go on, and maybe we should do an episode about this so I can be like super duper clear. Gendered stuff, masculine, feminine, and even presentation, masculine, feminine, is completely separate from masculine and feminine energy.
I see. Okay.
They're like completely two different things. It's just like, oh, she's moving my mic.
She's so cute.
It's just that in our society, we only talk about masculine and feminine for the most part as like the way you present, or the way that you show up and behave is like masculine or feminine. Like dance is feminine for some reason, but that's not what energetics are about at all.
I see. Okay, so put it on the list. We're doing an episode about energetics. We're doing an episode about gender, and for the record, we're both. I'm going to talk for both of us, and you can correct me. Absolutely, please. Right. We would be considered cis.
Yeah.
Right. Like we are. I identify as the biological sex that I was. Yes. So like, I'm not like somebody to fucking talk about gender nonconformity or gender fluidity or anything like that. I am just wholly fascinated by that. And apparently the energetics of it, I know goddamn nothing about. So yeah. I would love to learn more about it.
Yeah. God, we could do so many episodes, which is
the
why
point. It's the point.
And also is like why, and we can talk more about our separate like work that we do outside of this.
Right. I mean,
but a lot of the work that I'm going to be producing this year, the live programs and stuff, is this work of like getting to know your energetic being, your chakras, your energetics of like, how are you balancing your feminine and your masculine energies? And like, how does that correlate to like the science of the brain and like how you're
cool.
Like it's energetics and quantum and alignment and things.
Again, I'm learning some shit today because I know if you basically took the same person, but was like basically how you're going to understand the universe, we're different.
Yes.
And I don't know why I've never thought about that before. That's really cool to me.
Well, it's like, it's one of the reasons. I mean, there are so many reasons why I know that you're my person, but
shit.
Because we do have like very. Are you gonna cry?
No, I was gonna make a shit joke and ruin the moment. Please keep going.
Because, like I said, like we have the same core beliefs. Like that, I think that's like one of the most important things about a relationship is core beliefs, communication. But we do have very different fundamental beliefs about the universe, about how, like, spirituality and things like that. Like, we have, like, Andrew is very rooted in science and, like, how do I explain this? Like, I just believe in quantum physics and things that we don't have necessarily evidence to believe
Hold on.
in.
Quantum physics is a thing. But like, you find greater comfort and understanding in the word I was going to use is non-concrete, but that's fucking rude. I don't like that. Yeah, I guess science. Fuck it. I mean, I guess so. I just have different beliefs when it comes to that. Like, I guess that's what it is.
We co-create with the universe, and that there's a higher divine power that helps us energetically move up the frequency scale to attract all the things that we want in life, which is like not necessarily what you believe.
It's not, but like there's a shit ton of science that actually, and boy am I not going to quote anything right now because I need to fact check a bunch of shit just to be safe. But there's a lot of science that the beauty of it is like this. I guess like you could point this podcast as like in terms of it is a piece of connective tissue where we get to find common and uncommon ground and disagree peacefully and agree peacefully when it comes, and like learn about one another as much as we learn about all these topics that we want to talk about.
Yeah, maybe we're a symbol of like how to peacefully move through differing opinions.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is kind of cool.
I think that's amazing. Welcome to the podcast where where this couple just again blows smoke up each other's ass the entire time. I like the podcast where he talks about how beautiful and smart and spiritually aware she is. I like the one where she talks about what a manly man is. I don't know.
Manly man, where he talks about all his podcasts. I don't know what this voice is.
He talks about, oh man, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I think that'll do it for today. I think that's really good.
Yeah. One thing we talked about wanting to do toward the what?
I think that's good. Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna do.
No, one thing we had talked about is ending the episodes with some sort of. We don't have a name for this yet, but like one of the things that's really important to both of us, no matter what the heck is going on in our lives, is like finding something to be
grateful about.
So I don't know. We'll have to come up with some like name for it. Maybe you have a name. Maybe you have an idea. Listening.
I don't want your ideas. If you listen to like Georgia and Shmorja, they do fucking hoorays and hometown hoorays or hometown hell yeah.
Hometown stories.
Oh well, fucking hoorays as I know is a thing because it curses and I like that. We're ripping that off. Let's be real. Oh. It's okay. Art is iterative. It doesn't matter. Like this is just, it's what a wonderful thing to do at the end of a thing is to celebrate something. And why not? Why don't we just do that as well?
Yeah. Well, and also it's just like one of our rituals that we do that really is helpful. And so I guess we'll just end on those. And then my hope is that you listening will tell us what you're grateful for, and we were talking about this, not like the surface level bullshit. Like,
the rule is third date rule.
Yeah.
So my favorite, I am personally ripping this concept off of Patrick Rothfuss, who's my favorite writer. And he talks about whenever he goes and does a tour, you are not, and you get up for the Q&A, you are not allowed to ask him first date questions. Mm-hmm. You can't say like, why did you get into writing? And because he's like, I wanted to, I liked it. It was fun. Cool. Next question. That just wasted some time. He wants, you want the third date question. Like, I noticed that character, the main character in your story has issues with commitment. Is that rooted at all in your personal life? Yeah. And that's a much bigger topic.
We're trying to get deep here. Depth. Okay. Do you want to go first?
What I'm grateful for? Mm-hmm. I'm grateful for this food and all of this.
First day.
For clarity. I mean, this last week, the reason we're doing this really is the last straw for me in doing this is this last week was really hard and eye-opening, and I think I understand now what the hell I want to do. I know it's show business, period. I know it's entertainment, period. And I was just sick and tired of, and sad, super sad about not pursuing that and just wondering when the hell I was going to do it. So I'm so grateful that I had a fucking hard week, that I cried every single day. I know this isn't how it should end. I probably was positive, but I am really glad that it was so rough, because it really made me look at what I wanted to do and what I didn't want to do and pick. Yeah. And here we are.
I love that. Oh. I love that a lot for so many reasons. Well, but to keep it short, I'm not going to go on a tangent about your gratefulness.
I'm sure you will.
I am really grateful for my body, and not in the first date level, but
so am I.
All right. Even in my pretty much all of the work that I do is helping women basically figure out their body stories, reprogram them, because we've been taught so much bullshit about how to think about our bodies. Yeah. But the pandemic really gave me a nice big challenge of, let's basically take away all these ways that you moved your body before, not including but not limited to dancing as a profession and teaching. Yeah, I couldn't think of what that phrase was.
I'm with you. No, it's...
But my body changed so much over the pandemic. And then,
didn't we all?
Yeah. But then, navigated through that and then going back into kind of like this phase where I feel like we all kind of feel like we need to be operating at the level that we were operating at pre-pandemic.
Yeah. And
I had a knee flare up, which is a whole other topic for a different podcast episode. But I only have 1/3 of my meniscus in my right knee. Haven't had any issues with it since I got surgery years and years ago, but it flared up because I was doing too much and I wasn't taking care of my body. So long story short, did all of the necessary things, got Andrew's help because of his mobility specialization.
I can help you with your parts.
Do-do-do-do.
All right.
And it really made me slow down, actually do all of the things to take care of my body, and like seriously appreciate this, for lack of a better term, meat suit that we're in that helps us do all the things,
Oh, God.
So I'm very grateful for my meat suit.
That's goddamn great.
That helps me do all the things that I want to do, not just the podcast, but the dancing, the way I express myself, the ways that make me feel powerful,
right?
Like the way I express myself vocally. Like it's just, I'm so grateful for this body, this vehicle, and that it heals.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been, I am Andrew.
I'm Katie.
And this has been the Empress and the Hermit. And we don't have a formalized outro, like a cool saying yet. We'll find one.
We'll see you next week.
And we'll see you next week. I hope you have I hope you have the best week you've ever had. Bye. Oh, wait. Before, where can they see us?
Oh.
Remember that shit? Like,
where can you see us? With like, video wise?
The Instagrams, whatever.
You can find us on the Instagrams at the perfect. Empress and the Hermit. You can find me on Instagram at Katie, Kati, Vanloo, Vanloo, on the grams.
Yep. I have a book available on Amazon right now. Again, it's called Death and Life of Tom Valentine. You can just do a search for that. It's great. Buy it. Help me afford food. You can find, I don't give a shit about my Instagram. I'm barely on there. I look at pretty pictures and puppies and piggies and kittens and special needs animals because I love them.
Yeah.
But I'm on there at andrew.slack. That's SLAC. But look up our gym, Black Rose Fitness Society. It's on Instagram. It's on the website. It's, and yeah, we're on Instagram and all that stuff at the Empress and the Hermit.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.